Hey guys, my name is Jacob and this is my final project presentation for digital marketing course at the University of Portsmouth. So first of all, I would like to introduce my client. My client is Lukáš Veselý Landscapes. Lucas has been photographing for nearly 10 years, however last 5 years he's been focused on landscapes and astronomy mostly. Since then he managed to get a lot of followers and a lot of likes on social media, however he hasn't been profiting from this activity so far. So since I'm studying digital marketing, he asked me if I could help him with his digital marketing presence, and at the same time by accident I was about to choose my final project topic, so here we are helping each other out. When building digital marketing strategy for Lucas, I decided to use stack model. I use this model because we used it last term for digital marketing subjects, so I'm quite familiar with it and it's quite easy to understand and to follow. So the first step will be to build a situational analysis. So we are gonna start with external and internal factors. So talking about the external factor, I divided it into macro and micro environments. Macro environment, I analyzed it using pastel model. I used it because it's quite easy and quick to analyze, and I used it last term as well, so I'm familiar with it. Using this model, probably most important aspect is check GDP, which is regularly growing up, which means that consumers are spending more and more money in services, such as is one of Lucas, which is great. Also talking about social aspect, these days people have more leisure time, so they are spending more time with their hobbies, such as photography, and they are interested in workshops, in photography for example, which Lucas is offering, so it helps him. However, at the same time, when people have more time and spending more time with photography, for example, it means that there are more photographers on the market, which could be considered as Lucas's competitors, which could be probably the biggest threat in macro environment. Also, Czech currency, Czech crown is getting quite strong these years against euro, pound or dollar. So if Lucas decides to penetrate any foreign markets, it will be a little bit more expensive for foreign consumers, so he needs to consider this. That's probably everything important about pastel. Talking about microenvironment, probably I already mentioned it, but probably the biggest threat in microenvironment are the competitors. Not only on the Czech market but also worldwide. If we consider worldwide competitors, there are a lot of competitors which have thousands of years of experience, a lot of budget and quite well built digital presence, so for Lucas it would be pretty hard to compete with these competitors. However, if we consider the local market, the Czech market, Lucas offers quite a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, so if he combines it with pretty good digital marketing presence, he could gain some really good advantage over his competitors. So we'll try to focus on this. So after the external factors, I would like to talk about the internal ones. When talking about internal factors, it's important to realize that Lucas considers this activity only as a hobby, which means that the budget he's willing to spend is quite limited and the time he's willing to offer is quite limited as well. He's the only one who is running this business, if I can call it this way. So it's taking its prizes, especially considering website, which is quite poor, not very appealing, and there are a lot of things to be improved. On the other hand, we could say that Lucas has built quite a well-established social media audience, which is quite engaging and promising. And also Lucas offers a very individual approach to his customers or fans, so this could be considered as a big advantage. And also Lucas is focusing only on landscapes and astronomy, which gives him advantage over photographs which are focused on more broad aspects, not only landscape and astronomy. So we need to consider all these aspects. So after analyzing both external and internal factors, I decided to conduct a SWOT analysis, which could be used as a starting stone to build a digital marketing strategy. When conducting a SWOT analysis, probably the biggest opportunities are that Czech gross domestic product is regularly growing up, which means that people are willing to spend more and more money in hobbies and products. Also, these days people have more leisure time, so they get more time for their hobbies such as photography. So Lucas can use this for his workshops, for example. However, at the same time, if people have more time for hobbies such as photography, there will be also increase in number of competitors, which could be considered as a threat. Talking about strengths and weaknesses, probably the biggest strengths in case of Lucas are that his knowledge is quite good. He's been photographing for 10 years, and last 5 years he's been focused for landscapes and astronomy, so he's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of skills he can offer. Also, his social media accounts are promising and he can use them very well if he knows how. On the other hand, we could consider weaknesses his website, because he doesn't have a lot of free time and his budget is very limited, so that could be considered as big weaknesses for him. Hey guys, so since I'll be showing you a lot of things on my client's website or social media account, I decided to switch to my web camera. I also downloaded a streaming software so I can stream my screen on my laptop and show you all I wanted to. But for now I would like to talk about audience and primary search. So when analyzing my client's audience, I used Google Analytics, Instagram and Facebook Insights. If I say some average results in the audience, probably the most common age range in my client's audience is between 25 and 34, followed by 35 to 44 years old. Talking about the geography, the most people to social media and website is coming from the Czech Republic, which is around 60%. And the remaining 40% is almost equally spread around the world, where a little bit more common are people coming from Germany, Austria and the United States. When looking at Google Analytics, we can also see that most common interest groups are outdoors enthusiasts, business professionals, electronics consumers and science and astronomy people. Since the organization or Lucas's business has almost no customer base, this information will be used as a starting point to build buyer personas, which will be serving as a potential customer's target. So now I'm going to talk about the primary research I undertaken. When undertaking the primary research, my main goals I was trying to achieve were to get a better insight into clients' audience, gain an insight into clients' potential customers, understand the customer behavior in clients' industry, and get ideas and inspiration for the digital marketing strategy objectives and goals. So to do so, I decided to undertake a questionnaire or online survey. I decided to do this because my client has quite a big online audience, which could be used as potential respondents. When looking at the results of the survey, we managed to collect 118 respondents, where the most common age range was 25 to 35, and the rate between male and female was 70 to 30%. So I can say this audience is quite similar, or the respondents are quite similar to the audience of my client's social media accounts, which makes sense because most of the respondents came from his social media accounts. When analyzing the data from the primary research, I used most of the data in my digital marketing strategy, which I will talk later on. But if I can summarize it up, the most important insights from this primary research were the ultimate platforms for landscape photography browsing is Instagram. 85% of respondents chose this, followed by Facebook, 65%. The third one was Pinterest with only 8% of respondents. So this is why I decided for my digital marketing strategy to use only Instagram and Facebook, because these two platforms are the major ones. Also, 75% of respondents would appreciate blog articles with location tips as most desirable, 80%, followed by educational content, 62% of respondents. Also, 50% of respondents would appreciate an email newsletter with most desirable content as news from landscape photography, 70%, followed by outdoors blog articles, 50%. I was a little bit disappointed with only 50% of people choosing that they would be interested in newsletters. However, 50% is still a big number, considering that my client's Instagram audience is around 6,000 people. That makes 3,000 people would be potentially interested in newsletter, which is quite a lot. And also 93% of respondents would choose author's website while buying any product services, followed by social media contact forms, and that's only 30%. So 93% of respondents would choose website to buy any product or service, which gives me an insight that my client's website must be top-notch in order to make some conversions. So I decided to start streaming my screen so I can show you some content. I guess it's going to be easier. So after collecting all the data from primary research, Google Analytics, or primary Facebook and Instagram insights, I was able to create some buyer personas. Before creating them, I had to realize that my client has basically two audiences. One audience are photographers who are interested in learning more about photography, and the other audience are broad people who would be willing to buy some of his products, for example prints. So when creating buyer personas, I decided to create in total 5 buyer personas, where one is representing a negative persona, which is a no-go, and the remaining 4 are positive personas. So if you're gonna look at them, the first one is the old boy Tom. Tom used to be a professional climber. He used to spend a lot of time in nature, climbing. He spent a lot of time looking at sky. He's a nature guy. Now he's getting old, and he's trying to find a way how to memorize all his memories from the past. He's also old, so he's using only Facebook. And yeah, he could be a potential buyer who could buy my client's prints or other products. The other one is Wise Philip. Wise Philip is in his middle age. He has a family. However, he likes to photograph he likes to take some pictures, and he would love to learn more. So another persona is Wise Philip. Wise Philip is in his middle age. He has regular income. He has a family with 2 kids and a wife. He loves to spend some time with his family in the nature. He also has his own camera, and he would love to learn more about photography because he's in the beginning stage and he doesn't know much. Right now he's using Facebook and Twitter, and he would be a great target for my clients' workshops because he wants to learn more about photography. If we move on, there is a backpacker Kevin. Backpacker Kevin is in my age. He's 25, 26. He's studying, so his budget is limited. However, he loves traveling. He's spending a lot of time visiting another countries with his camera around his neck, taking pictures. He also loves to spend time in nature, so he would love to learn more about how to take some proper photos, not some mainstream ones. So he could be also another potential target for my clients' workshops. If we carry on, there is design enthusiast Monica. Monica, she doesn't has anything to do with photography, but she's let's say design freak. She likes to make her place looking nice. She's also working as a designer, so she design other people's places. I don't know, interiors. So she could be a potential buyer of my clients' prints or another products, for example calendars, which she can use as design objects. And there is this one negative buyer persona, which is Carolina the kid. Carolina is quite young, she's 18. She's quite active on social media, she's using almost all the social media platforms. However, she's very young and she doesn't really know what she wants to do in the future. So right now she's having a lot of hobbies, a lot of activities, but it's changing a lot. So right now she might be interested in photography, but in another 2 or 3 months she will be interested in animal rights or fighting climate change or whatever. So she's not a very well target for my client. So she's a negative persona. So after collecting all the data from primary research and situation analysis, I was able to start developing a digital marketing strategy for my client. When developing the marketing strategy, I had to realize a few things. First of all, that my client's main requirement is to generate sales, and also that I had to take into account my client's nature and current situation, that his budget is very limited, so we agreed that the budget will be set to £200 only. And also my client has quite a lot of plans for the future. For example, he wants to release drone services. He also wants to start recording online educational content, which he will be posting on YouTube or somewhere else. And also, if he will be able to save some budget, he will consider to transferring his website to another platform such as Squarespace or SmackSmack. So after considering all this, I decided to run only a short-term strategy, which will be only for 5 months, and it will be from October 2019 to February 2020. If we carry on about setting strategy objectives, I decided to use SMART objectives. It's the same reason as another things that we used them last term, so I'm quite familiar with them and I feel quite comfortable with them. So if I'm following my client's main requirement, which is to generate sales, I set my main objective to generate £400 profit until February 2020. That's the main objective which I'll be trying to reach, and I'll be trying to reach this objective through some sub-objectives, which will be first lead generation objectives. So I will try to generate 100 leads via email marketing, blogging and social media activity until February 2020. I will also try to increase web traffic by 25% until February 2020. I already mentioned before that my client's current website situation is quite poor. He is receiving around 200 visitors each month, which is not very good. So I will try to increase it by 25% until February 2020. And there will be some conversion objectives to generate that £400. First of all, we will try to sell 30 pieces of 2020 calendar until December 2019. My client did this last year. He sold around 20 pieces of calendar, and the campaign was very successful, so we'll try to do it again this year, but in a bigger scale. We'll also try to have 5 workshop sign-ups until February 2020 and have 2 prints sold until February 2020, but this one is only optional. It will depend on other aspects. I'm going to explain it later on. So after setting my objectives, I was ready to start developing specific campaigns to reach my objectives. So the first one, and probably the most important one, was the website optimization. It's well known that website is probably the most important element in digital presence, as it's It's basically the landing site for all the campaigns. If it's either social media or email marketing. This fact is also supported by my primary research results, where 93% of respondents chose website as the main location where they would seek to make any purchase. So I knew I have to do something about my clients' website conditions. At the same time, I also knew that my client's budget is quite limited. It's only £200, which is not much. And also, in the future, if my client gets enough money, he would like to transfer his website from WordPress platform to SmackSmack or Squarespace platform. So I didn't want to go too deep in this optimization because there might be some changes in the future, but I wanted to do some major changes so it's more visitors friendly. So first of all, what I did, I restructured the whole blog page. If we take a look at the original blog page, how it looked before, it wasn't very appealing. These are each blog articles. There's no preview, there is no publish date, there are no social media share buttons, there is not much. Each picture has different size. It's not looking very nice. I knew I have to change it. So I downloaded some plugins and I restructured. I'm gonna show it here. I restructured in the menu looking like this, so we can share each blog article. There is also a date when it was published. There is a preview, so people can read something before opening it. So it's definitely looking better than before. The pictures are more aligned than before. The whole design of the blog page is looking much better now. Also, if you open each article, there will be previews and next. So after visitors finish reading any article, they can go to the next article, to the previous article, which makes them stay longer on the website. So this is about blog page. Next one I restructured is the workshop page, which is translated to kurzy in Czech. So if we look at the original page, how it looked before, you can see a long list of workshops in one page, which is not very nice. So each workshop doesn't even have its specific landing page, which is not good for promotion or driving traffic or stuff like this. So what I did, for each workshop I created a specific page. Also about the album, the loading speed was quite low because the pictures are big. What I did, instead of album, I used a slide form. So there's only one photo loading at a time, which is increasing the loading speed. And this not very nice looking sign up form, I restructure it and I put it into each individual workshop. So if people sign up, my client knows to what workshop they are signing up. So that definitely helps not only my client but also the visitors and participants of the workshops to control the page and to be more organized. So another aspect which I improved in my client's website is that I created a brand new calendars 2020 landing page, because my client is planning to start selling calendars in October 2019. So I knew we need a specific individual landing page for all the campaigns will be run through social media or email marketing. So I created a brand new page which can be seen here. So this is the landing page where people can order calendars. So I put an album here where people can go through all 12 photos which will be used in the calendar, so they can see how it will be looking. There is also mentioned how expensive the calendar is, the delivery time estimated. There is the sign up form where people can sign if they are interested, they can fill it out. You can also say how many calendars they are interested in and if they have any eventual notes or questions. And I also put a few pictures from calendar 2019 so people can see which is the average, what is the size of the calendar and how is it looking in overall. So I hope that helps people to understand what is going on and to make any conversions. If people fill out this form and send it, my client will receive an email. So he will know their name, their email, how many calendars they want. So he can then approach them and just double check if they are interested, and if they are, they can make the purchase. So this is about my calendar landing page. Yeah, you can see there's some screenshots here. The next thing I did, there was just some slight changes, but I just felt I need to do them. In page print page, my client right now is not very focused on selling prints. He's most focused on those calendars and workshops. However, I wanted to do some slight changes here. So what I add to the page, if people go to the prints, they will have newly they will have a here button, which can transfer them from here to gallery. So if they are interested in buying prints, there'll be a quicker way to go to the gallery where they can choose prints from. Also, I created a quite advanced form where they can choose what's the name of the print they want to buy, what dimensions they wish to buy, what material, if they want a regular material, if they want canvas, if they want it framed or unframed, and also if they have any questions or notes, then they can send their requests. So this speeds up the whole process of purchasing prints, and also my clients know straight away what print they are interested in, what dimensions, so he can work with this. So I hope it's gonna help him to make more conversions regarding print selling. So this is probably all about my website optimization. I have a quick website optimization overview. So when I was checking how many hours it would approximately take to make these changes, it took me literally days to make these changes, but it was quite new for me. I've never worked with WordPress before, so I tried to look up how many hours it would take to some professionals. I visited some pages who are focused, who have people who are experts for this. So the approximate hours would be 3 hours to do all these changes, and for 3 hours my client would be charged an average £75, which is 2,000 Czech crowns. Also have how it helps to reach my objectives. So basically all other campaigns will be driving traffic to my website, to my client's website. So this is the core point of the whole strategy. With better user experience, there'll be more conversions, there'll be more leads, and so on. So it's a must. So another campaign I decided to use is blog writing. I decided to use this because blog writing is a great tool to attract leads, engage with audience, and drive traffic to the website, which works well with my objectives. It's also quite a cheap way. There is no big budget needed for this. Also, my client is quite well traveled, so I believe he's got a lot to write about. So I would love him to start writing some blog articles about his traveling. For this particular campaign, I decided to write an article example. I wrote about my client's trip to Lapland region in Finland in 2016. I decided to use this topic for two reasons. First of all, from my primary research, respondents chose that they would be most interested in topics such as location tips. So here they go, they can find some interesting aspects about Lapland, which is considered as a paradise for photographers. Another reason why I chose this topic is that my client organized a huge photo expedition in February 2020, so he can use this actual blog post as a sneak peek for his big expedition next year. So if we look on the overview blog, so it doesn't cost anything. It might cost some time, but not in relation to money. So I would say it's a great tool how to reach my objectives. About the blog example I wrote, I didn't write the actual content. I made it up because I didn't go to Lapland with my client, and I've never been there, so I don't know much about it. What I wanted to show is how the blog article should be structured, all the aspects that should be involved in this article. So, for example, there should be previews and next, so the readers can go straight to some preview and next blog articles. Also, through reading or during the reading, there'll be a sign up button where they can sign up for newsletters, which will generate leads, which is one of my objectives. Also, there'll be some external and internal links included, so it will have some basic SEO support, which I'm not focused on, but if he writes some blogs, it should be mentioned there. And also there'll be a button for so my client will be saying that in next year in February there'll be a similar trip like this one, so if you like this post you can go and check it out, and some people might like it and they might sign up for this huge photo expedition in February 2020. So another campaign I decided to use for my strategy is email marketing. My client wanted to use emails to inform his audience about new workshops, so I used this opportunity to create an actual email marketing campaign, not only for workshops but also for another stuff. Also from primary research, 50% of respondents showed that they would be interested in subscribing to newsletters. And also, if they subscribe, 70% said that they would appreciate news from landscape photography as the main content, followed by authors' blog updates or learning content, which 49% of respondents chose. So following these leads, I decided to create email examples. I create 3 emails. So first one is a welcome email, so anytime someone subscribes, they will receive this email saying welcome to the team. This email is quite simple, just introducing the client to the subscriber, saying since when he is photographing, what cameras he is using. There are also an actual pictures of him, so people can see him as a human, not only as a photographer. And also there will be information what they can expect from these newsletters. So they can expect news from landscape photography, they can expect new article blogs from the author's website, and they can also expect new workshops updates. So this is what they wanted from primary research, and also this is what my client wished for, so which is great. In this email also they can click and go to his Instagram account or Facebook account, and if they wish to contact him, there is a contact button. Every email there will be preferences or unsubscribe button, and also what is the reason why this email was sent to them. So it's saying that this email was sent based on their subscription on my client's website. So this is the first email. The second email is a regular newsletter which will be sent regularly. All emails, if you noticed, are in dark theme. That's because my client is focused on astronomy and his website is dark, so I wanted to align this theme with the rest of my client's presence. Also, it's showing some mysterious elements. Here you can see my client standing on a rock with a night sky. So this newsletter example is showing his new blog article, which is the Lapland trip I presented before. So they can just easily click and go straight to the blog article on his website. It's also saying that there will be some new workshops are coming up, so they can check his workshop page and see what workshops has been added. And also, as the respondents from primary research wished, there will be top news from landscape photography world. So my client can add some news here saying, I don't know, somebody won an award, or there's new photography he feels like he should share with others. And there'll be also social media buttons, so they can share it or they can go straight to his social media accounts. These emails can be translated easily to English which is for you, not for the audience. But if you want to translate it, you can just right click and translate to English, so you can read the content in English. The last email is about workshop. So anytime somebody participates in my client's workshop, this email will be sent at the end of the workshop saying thank you for participating, that my client hopes that they had a good time and they learned some new things. Also, there'll be a Google Drive link where my client posts some group photos, selfies, or also encourage other people to upload their photos they had, which is great. And also, it's very important, there'll be a feedback form. So my client will be asking all the participants to fill out this feedback form, which is a regular, easy Google form feedback form. So he can see what they liked, what they didn't like, what he should improve, what he should add or not do. And also they can follow him on Instagram, Facebook, or contact him if they wish. So these 3 emails are examples how the whole email marketing will look like. I'll be using, for this purpose, I'll be using Campaign Monitor platform, which is something like MailChimp. It is a paid platform, which is a little bit disadvantage. However, they have really great looking themes which align with my client's team. So I believe it's very important for him to use these themes, and also it's not that expensive. It's only $9 per month, which is £7 a month. So for this whole campaign or strategy, it will be 5 months multiplied by 7, so that's £35 for the whole campaign. So which is not that expensive. So I believe he can afford it in his budget. How this email marketing will help to reach my objectives? So it will definitely drive traffic to the website through the links which I used in the email. It will generate leads through sign-up forms, which I'm going to show you in a second. And also I'll be following the simple rule that will be 90% will be entertaining content, and only 10% will be sales driving content. But the 10% can be used to promote, for example, prints or those calendars he will be selling. So about those sign-up forms, first form will be always visible on the side of the website. So if you hover over or click on it, this window will pop up where people can easily sign up to his newsletters. And also, if new visitor comes to the website, there will be this pop-up window which is saying subscribe to learn more about landscape photography and get regular news from the industry. Also, there is a small sentence saying that by clicking on subscribe, they agree that my client will be sending them regular newsletters. So this is about my email marketing campaign. So last but not least, there'll be a social media campaign. The main goal or the main reason for social media campaign will be to support other campaigns such as blog article or calendar selling. So the main goals of this campaign will be to drive more traffic to the new blog article through social media presence, both regular posts and advertisement. Another one will be to support 2020 calendar sale. It will be through regular posts, and if needed, there will be some calendars remaining. Then there will be advertisement campaign ready. And if there is some budget left, which is optional, the remaining budget will be used to sell 2 prints on the website. It's also important to mention that all social media campaigns will be using Bitly platform, which can generate their own links, which can be tracked on Google Analytics. So we will know exactly how this campaign is doing and how are we reaching our objectives. So here I'm adding some examples of the posts on social media. So this is a blog article post. When the blog will be released, this post will be posted on Facebook and Instagram. Here using the Bitly link, so we can track it. Here's the translation. So it says, I've just finished writing this travel guide about Lapland for all enthusiastic photographers and travelers. If you need some new location inspiration, go ahead and check it out and leave me a comment what you think about it. There's also a version for Instagram stories, so people can swipe up or find the link in my client's bio. That's about the blog article. The calendars. So the objective is to sell 30 calendars. So first there'll be posted some regular non-paid posts, and if it's not enough and there'll be some calendars which are still not sold, there'll be £50 ad campaign ready to make sure all remaining calendars will be sold. So this is a regular post, not paid, so people can find more photos in the post, so they can go through and see what is it about, how is it looking, which is similar to the landing page. If it's not enough, this paid campaign will be used to make sure all the remaining calendars are sold, so we can reach the objective. Or print sale, which is optional, it depends on the calendars. If there is some remaining budget from the calendars, it will be used to this print sales. So the main objective is to sell 2 prints, which might sound a little bit funny, but prints are quite expensive, and selling 2 prints would be a great deal for my client. So I would say 2 prints are quite realistic. So this is an example of sponsored post on Facebook in order to sell some prints. So there'll be free delivery, which, by the way, in primary research was chosen as the most welcome feature for selling prints. So in the overview, the cost of this campaign will be between £30 and £80, depending how calendars will be selling well. And how it helps to reach objectives. So it will be driving traffic to the website, it will be making conversions by selling 30 calendars and eventually 2 prints, and also it will generate some leads and conversions through the blog article. So this is all about my campaigns. This is how the digital marketing strategy will be undertaken. Now I have a little topic about ROIs and how to control the strategy. So regarding the ROI, I don't want to go too deep into this calculation because it would take around 15-20 minutes to explain everything. However, there is a basic table explaining for how much each product or service is sell for, how much does it cost, and so what's the profit per item. So this is a starting point for the calculation. Also, there is a final profit which varies between 460 and 580 depending how the campaigns will go, which is great because the main objective was to reach at least £400, which this is more than that. Also, the total cost range will between 135 and 185. Again, we agree that the total budget will be up to 200, which this is less. That's good. So using these numbers, I was able to calculate an actual ROI. However, those ROIs are quite estimated or average, so I decided to create worst case scenario ROI and the best case scenario ROI. So if everything goes wrong, the worst case scenario would be 149%, which is not bad considering only £200 would be spent. If everything goes as good as it possibly could go, the ROI will go all the way up to 213%, which is even better. And also it needs to be considered that some aspects of the strategy are long term, so they cannot be calculated, so the actual value of the strategy will be a bit bigger than those numbers I'm showing here. So this is probably all from my presentation. I hope everything is easy to understand and readable. So I would like to wish you good luck with reading it, watching it, and eventually marking it, and hopefully see you next year at graduation in Portsmouth, guys. See you.